Hello, my name is Marquise Orlando Harvey. I'm originally from Cuba, but I'm here living in Tacoma at the Stability site, 29 years old. And living here in Tacoma, being homeless, I've learned a lot of things I used to be a very materialistic person, and I've learned being homeless, I don't need a whole bunch to be happy. And I'm here doing this interview to kind of give people an inside look at what homelessness possibly looks like.
My name is Linda Black. I have lived in Tacoma all of my life. I live in my own home now, but I have experienced homelessness in my past. And right now I work at the Kavanaugh Stability site.
For the people that don't know where we're at or where my backyard is, it's here at, I think they call it Stability Site 1 is what was the term was given to me when me and my wife came. And we're behind the big tent. I don't know, they'll probably have that in the shoot later, but we're behind the big tent, and me and my wife are currently in what they call a pallet shelter. It's a small space, but for what it is, keeps us out of the rain, keeps us dry. We have somewhere to store our stuff. They give us locks, so it kind of feels like a small apartment, but then it's still being homeless. But we're here, we deal with our struggles every day. The staff, some of them, they help us deal with our struggles, and I appreciate what they do, and this is my backyard, everybody.
In this community, it's so unique and different. It's what every community should be, because if someone here needs a can opener, they just ask, and somebody's going to have it. Where if you go out there in a regular neighborhood, nobody's going to loan you a can opener. They're afraid they'll never see it again. The people in here are kind, and they work together in a way that our communities used to work.
When we go outside these gates into the community's backyard, it kind of feels like to me sometimes it feels like they just threw us off in a corner of their backyard and was like, okay, you guys are over there, stay over there. As long as you're over there, we're fine. But I've gotten dirty looks. I've heard people, I've gone into restaurants with my wife, and I've seen people kind of give us that look like, or even across the street at the corner store over here, the guy has said some nasty things, and it's like, I'm human just like you. And I feel like we all deserve to be treated accordingly. Okay, you don't have to like me, you don't have to like what I'm going through, but that doesn't mean you have to treat me as if I'm not a human. What do you imagine would be the hardest thing for you if you were experiencing homelessness?
Actually, I have been homeless before, but not on the streets. I was lucky enough that after one night in my car, an old friend took me in, so I was homeless. But I think the hardest part would be sleeping under a bridge, sleeping on the ground, being in the rain and being cold and scared. Actually, I know that would be the hardest part for me.
I feel that would be pretty hard too, even though I've experienced that. That was something that was hard for me and my wife to do, because we lived in a car, we lived in multiple tents, and then on top of that, we had a dog.
What are some of the barriers that you've encountered trying to find housing?
The barriers that I deal with, one, me just personally speaking on myself, criminal background, not having credit, currently not having a job. For us with criminal backgrounds, it even makes it 10 times harder, because we're like, oh, the crime could have been anything, a multitude of anything. But a lot of apartment complexes, say for instance, if you stole something, it could have been 5, 6, 10, 20 years ago, depending on that apartment, what their requirement is and what contract they have to how far they can look back. They see that, and that one thing that happened way back could be the one thing that they're like, oh no, we're good. And they have the right to not tell you that. They have the right to not tell you that's the reason why. Do you feel that you could ever be at risk of becoming homeless? You said that you've been homeless before, but do you feel that now that you're working and stuff, that you're possibly could be at risk again of becoming homeless?
I know I could. If anything happened, if they closed this place down, it might not be my fault. I could end up without a job, and unemployment isn't enough to pay my mortgage and pay all my bills. And I could end up being homeless again. And I think about that all the time. So it's not always something you deserve, and people talk a lot about what you deserve and what homeless people deserve, and that they should feel happy they have a shower, and they don't deserve an indoor shower where, you know, I see people walk out in the snow and the cold, they step out of the shower right into the rain. That's horrible, and people think, well, that's what they deserve, they should feel happy. And I know when I was homeless, even though I didn't have that, different people took me in, there was still that feeling that people had this feeling that I didn't deserve better, and I didn't have rights, and, well, she doesn't need a parking spot, she's lucky to have a roof over her head. So a lot of it is about the way you look at yourself and the way others look at you. When I think about equality and how it might affect homelessness, I think obviously people who've grown up poor have not had the same opportunities that others have. Usually it's people of color who grew up poor. They don't have the same opportunities. It's easier for them to become homeless because it's harder for them to gain meaningful employment. So I think inequality has a lot to do with it. This conversation kind of makes me feel guilty because I have a home to go home to, and I have the feeling that goes along with knowing I have my own home and knowing where I'm going to sleep tomorrow night and next week. But it also makes me feel good because I feel like there are people who care and who really need to hear this. And it makes me feel sad because it makes me listen and talk about some of the things that these people are going through, and I really do care about these people. So
how it makes me feel just to hear someone that's not homeless say that, it's very heartwarming to know that there's people out there that actually, I don't think you should feel guilty for having a home. You should never feel guilty for having a home, especially if you worked hard for it. You should not, I don't think anybody should ever feel guilty for having a home if they worked hard for it. But I feel, don't let that put a cold spot on your heart towards people that don't have that. Because there are some of us that we have goals, we have ambitions, there's things that we want in life. We just are having a hard time figuring it out right now. And, whew, sorry, didn't expect that. I just, wow. I don't know what to say right now.
You know, if I could send one message out there to the community, it would just be that no one deserves to be homeless, and everyone deserves a chance and a decent place to sleep and food to eat, and that we should do better. to help each other?
Well, how I feel about that is I feel the same, is that we can do better. When the one message that I would like to send out to people is the same thing. Try to do better. I'm not saying try to change the world in a day, but just if you see somebody homeless, or regardless if they're homeless or not, to just eliminate that. Don't look at that person with a label of, oh, that person looks homeless. No, look at it, that person looks like they might need help. We all need each other. That's just the message I want to send out there, is we all need each other. So I want to thank the people here for giving me this opportunity for the interview. Thank you, Miss Linda. And we got Mike, I forget his name. We got Mikey, Michael, and Ronnie. They're the behind the scenes people. And I thank you for them coming down. And sorry for the noise, people, but this is my backyard. Hope you guys enjoyed looking at it.